Another news in detail. President Akufo-Addo has revoked the appointment of 24 district chief executives with immediate effect. In a letter signed on Friday, February 2nd, the president explained his decision is in accordance with Article 243, Clause 3B of the Constitution and Section 20, Clause 3 and B of the Local Government Act 2014, Act 936. It is unclear why they are being sacked, but let's get more from this. Joining us via Zoom is Blessed Suga. Blessed, if you can hear me, could you run us through this report and what it means? But according to the letter, in accordance with Article 243, Clause 3 and B of the Constitution and Section 20, Clause 3 and B of the Local Government Act 2014, Act 3936 it says, I write to inform you that I have revoked the appointment of the following persons as district chief executives. We have Martina Apia Nyantechi of Ahafo-Ano North, Nilate Olenu of Amansie West, Daniel Oredu of Nkuranza South, Alhaji Abdullahi Adams of Pru East, Masombe Jerome Kofijima of Sene East, Joseph Edu of Ewutu Senya West, Samuel Kwame Ajekum of Osojaman, Seth Asante of Echiwa West, Comfort Asante, New Jabe North, Isaac Kwajo Boabeng from Insawam Adwejiri, Daniel Alexander Ninoy Eduamwa from Adenta, Mohamed Bashiru Kamara from Ga Central, Elizabeth Kakiman, Ga East, Patrick Kwesi Brakukumo, Wejagbawe, Rashida Mahama from East Mamprusi, Emmanuel Jula Kajao from Krachi West, Lawe Bright Kwame from Nkwanta South, and Lucina Barkisu from Sawa Tuna Kalba. We also have David Akologo Amwa from Bolga East, Tahiru Ishaku Ahmed from Bawku West, Aisha Botong Hall from Sisala West, Seth Kwesi Agbi from South Tong, Patrick Hodgson Ampoteng from Amenfi Central, and Dorcas Elizabeth Amwa from Izuma East. It continues to say, I will respectively request that you give immediate effect to my directive. I will, under separate cover, write to you to nominate their replacement. That is what the letter says. Now, let's look at the new nominees who are going to replace these dismissed MMDCEs. It's coming up to you on your screen any moment now. We have Prince, the statement says that nomination to municipal and district assemblies pursuant to my letter of 2nd February 2024 and in accordance with Article 243 Clause 1 of the Constitution, I've made the following nominations to the office of Chief Executive of the following municipal and district assemblies pending their approval by their respective assemblies. We have Prince Doma Amwa for Ahafo-Ano North, Oscar Asari Ando from Amensie West, Dr. Amwateng Augustine Kwesi from Nkuranza South, Mohammed Haruna for Pru East, Samson Bolu from Sene East, Moses Ahinfo Akwa from Ewutu Senya West, Nana Kweku Aban from Chefo Heman Lower Denchira, Mavis Opokua Akono from Esojaman, Paddy Amponsan Douglas, Echiwa West, Professor Edward Asante Entry from New Jabe North, Owusu Arthur Emmanuel in Sawam Adwegiri, Ebenezer Doku for Adenta, Ambrose Chega for Ga Central, Deborah Ampofo for Ga East, Michael Dankwa for Wejagbawe, Isa Chimsi Abdullahi for East Mamprusi, Bulato Kweku Patrick from Krachi West, Felix Owusu Jima in Nkwanta South, and Jacob Dumakawe from Saula Tuna Kalba, and finally, Agana Albert Akugre for Bolga East. It continues with Anania Daniel and Tampuba for Bawku East, Mohammed Foka for Sisala West, Zu Walter Wogbemasi for Adaklu, Innocent Linford Kwesi Tete for South Tong, Alex Baidu, Amenfi Central, and Eric Essien for Nzima East. Now, let's speak to Fred Odro-Nyako, who is a local government analyst. He joins us via phone. Mr. Fred Nyako, Mr. Odro-Ejako, if you can hear me, what does this mean to the continuity of local government?
Well, it's a requirement that each MMDCE has a district chief, a chief executive. And it's also a fact that the president has the power to revoke appointment in as much as he has the same powers to make the appointment. So it means that, yes, the president is ensuring there is as little vacuum as possible. We are quite aware that the assemblies themselves are yet to be inaugurated. And when the inauguration is done, this is going to be one of the immediate tasks they will have to perform. So, in as much as the appointments have been revoked, I think the president has reduced the level of agitations that people would have come out to lobby for these positions and all that. But that has also been reduced significantly with the immediate appointment of new people. But it's not going to be immediate as the letter would indicate, because the assemblies are yet to be inaugurated after the last district level elections. When they are inaugurated, they must all begin with the election of their presiding members, and then they can also elect their district chief executive. However, that is not to say that they cannot vote for their chief executive before voting for their presiding members.
Mr. Jacko, is this reshuffle timely?
Well, I believe within the MPP, they would have considered that. Let's remember not too long ago, just during the Christmas period, we heard the General Secretary, Justin Kudia, talking about the need for some people to leave their positions. Then we just had the MPP parliamentary primaries for, basically where they had certain MPs. But let me quickly add that it is not all the places that have had their MMDCE, the chief executive replaced, that had certain MPs. But we realize that there is it is not too far-fetched to link the revocation and the new appointments to the upcoming general elections. Whichever way you look at it, the general elections have got something to do with it. However, it is also possible that there were people the president was expecting some of these people to have supported that did not win or they didn't support. That could also affect their continuous stay in office. There are people who there have been complaints about them, whether from chiefs, whether from the party at the constituency level or various levels. So there could be a myriad of issues, but my firm belief is that these revocations and new appointments are being made with the 2024 general elections firmly in mind.
Interesting. Mr. Jacko, can you provide some insight, or how is it possible that the president needs the approval of assembly members to appoint these MMDCEs, but he doesn't need to, consult them before he fires them?
No, the appointment is a prerogative of the president. So when you are appointed and when your appointment is revoked, is the sole prerogative of the president. However, when it comes to confirmation or the approval for the rule, that one requires the assembly members to come in. It is similar to, say, appointment of ministers. When ministers are being appointed, the president makes a nomination and they are confirmed by the parliamentarians. But if a president chooses to revoke the appointment of any individual, he doesn't need the approval of the parliament, in the case of members of parliament. In the same situation, when it comes to revocation, he doesn't need assembly members' approval to revoke an appointment. So that's how it works.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Fred Odrejaku, who is a local government analyst. Join us via Zoom for that insight. Now, leader of Movements for Change, Alan Tremanting, says he's confident the great transformational plan will turn Ghana's economy around. Speaking earlier on Newsfile, Mr. Tremanting said he has the track record to deliver economic prosperity to Ghanaians.
Now, there's clarity about what the plan is speaking to, because it's documented. And I'm not one of the politicians that will say, oh, but if you bring it out and people know about what you want to do, then either people will steal your ideas
or their manifestos.
I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
I know with the help of God, I'll become president. And so I want to prepare what will make it possible for me to make a difference before I get to power. Not to wait until they give you the mandate and you are now coming to put together a team to decide what you want to do. That alone takes 1.5 years.
If you wanted to share with us one of the diagnoses and the, as it were, the prescription for our economic, situation, what will it be in that plan?
I would say, let's say, currency. The stability of our currency. I mean, look, I have 150 policy prescriptions in the whole GTP, which are categorized under 6 thematic areas. But the focus on this one was just the economic cluster. Now, but when you are looking at economic revitalization, the stability of your currency is very important because it has implications for inflation in particular. It has implications for even the level of growth that you can achieve as a country and the multiplier effect. So I believe that if we just took the issue of currency, the strength of your currency is a factor, or it's a question of the demand and supply of foreign exchange. And the more foreign exchange you have, the more stable your currency will be as against other currencies, particularly, let's say, the dollar. Now, in this particular case, if we are able to increase exports, it means the supply of foreign exchange would increase. At the same time, if you are able to reduce the level of imports, then we would also conserve foreign exchange. So if you have more foreign exchange, then that strengthens your local currency, because you need less local currency now to exchange for 1 unit of dollar.
Now, let's take you to an earlier forum where Alan Tremanting made a case for the enhancement of production capacity, which he says is a prerequisite for Ghana's economic recovery. He brought together captains of industry and organized labor to dialogue on Ghana's future.
The National Economic Summit, a bipartisan forum organized by the Movement for Change, is targeted at harnessing the expertise of Ghanaians drawn from all walks of life. Present were captains of industry and labor organizations seeking to fashion out key recommendations that will influence national policy on reviving the Ghanaian economy. In his opening remarks, leader of the Movement for Change, Alan Tremanting, says Ghanaians have been looking for an opportunity to contribute ideas to finding lasting solutions to the country's problems.
The majority of Ghanaians are deeply worried about our current economic circumstances and are looking for an opportunity to contribute ideas to finding solutions to our problems. It is against the foregoing background that over the last few months, I have assembled a team of some of the best and brightest in our country from different fields of specialization to formulate a plan that will move Ghana from poverty to prosperity. The outcome of these consultations has been the development of what I have christened as the Great Transformational Plan.
The Trades Union Congress took the opportunity to present its newly outlawed framework called the Workers' Manifesto, a document which the group believes should influence public policy on labor issues in Ghana.
Assuming in 2026 or between now and 2026, we want to create 1 million jobs for young people. We work on that. How many will be women? How many will be men? How many will come from the various regions? We work that out. And then we ask the very important question: what level of interest rate will be needed to support those who are going to create those jobs? Then we try to regulate interest rates to suit that.
That we should be able to identify those things that we have comparative advantage. If you look at the oil, the palm oil that we produce and all that, we can pack it well, produce it well and fund the market, and then it will also serve the basis of what Ghana have in terms of industrialization.
Former Trades and Industry Minister Alan Kojo-Kyerematen says although effective fiscal guidelines and policies will help revive the economy, the enhancement of production capacity of the country will go a long way to foster economic recovery.
And within that context, we've discussed inflation, how to reduce interest rates, how to stabilize our currency, our debt sustainability management strategy. All these have been discussed under the chapeau of the macroeconomy. But we've also discussed policy recommendations in respect of industrial transformation. Fixing your macroeconomy is a necessary condition, but it's not a sufficient condition. So you need to be able to enhance the productive sectors of the economy on the back of the macroeconomy. So we've discussed industrial transformation. This afternoon we'll discuss agricultural revolution. And then, of course, another very important economic sector, tourism, would also be discussed in the afternoon.
Let's move to the opposition National Democratic Congress next, where its flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, says his next government will prioritize the restoration of peace in Bawku. He's described as unfortunate, heightened tension in the area after calm was maintained some time ago. Nana Aljima has more in the following report.
For decades, Bawku has endured chieftaincy-related protracted conflict. Heightened tension in recent times has impacted negatively on the local economy, with trading activities almost at a halt. The flag bearer of the NDCE, John Dramani Mahama, on Friday met with paramount chiefs of the western and central zones of the Upper East region when he took his Building Ghana tour to Bolgatanga. At the meeting, the president of the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs, the Chiana Pew, made a passionate appeal to the NDC flag bearer to trigger strategies to deal with the tension in Bawku.
We are no longer safe in the region. Whether you are a Kosase or Mampresi, well-meaning citizens who want to see peace in the area are tagged to either of the warring factions, making the finding of a permanent solution to the crisis very difficult. I know you understand this very well, since all the political factions are attacked in one way or the other.
The Building Ghana tour is aimed at offering the platform to members of the public to voice out concerns that would feed into the 2024 manifesto of the NDC. Former President John Mahama is disturbed by the current situation.
At the time we were in office, we had virtually calmed things. Bawku was a thriving community again. People were going about their business without fear of being harmed. Unfortunately, now you cannot roam freely in Bawku. Just recently, I was reading they have put the ban on riding motorcycles again in the evening. And generally, it's a period of insecurity for the people living in that area. In the night, buses are fired upon and people are killed. Sometimes when the buses are going from Bawku down, they are waylaid on the Bolga-Tamale highway, and some unknown people fire shots into the bus and injure people. These are things that we're going to make a priority when we come. We have done it before, we'll do it again. We will work hard to resolve the Bawku crisis and bring peace back to Bawku and surrounding areas.
Improved security is an integral part of the NDC flag bearers' 24-hour economy policy. Mr. Mahama reiterated the need for a strong fight against armed robbery in the area.
Armed robbery has become a major problem here, and it's affecting the economy of the Upper East region. You go to market days, you are coming back, armed robbers set on you, and they rob the people. We're going to mount a very strong fight against armed robbery, because you cannot have economic progress. You can't have economic progress in an environment of insecurity, and so it's imperative that we make sure that our region is safe and secure so that people can go about their businesses.
Day one of the tour also featured town hall meetings with the people. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Meanwhile, John Mahama insists his administration will reverse the names of public universities undertaken by the Akufo-Addo-led government. This, he says, would be done to reflect the mandate of the universities. Addressing a town hall meeting at Zuarungu, Mr. Mahama said he would not hesitate to rename some public universities.
We are known as the nation builders, NDC, because of the number of schools we have built. Every public university was initiated and built by us. All MPP knows how to do is to name universities that people have built. So after NDC builds the university, then they will come and give it a name of one of their heroes or one of their people. We are going to rename the universities. We are going to rename the universities. Ghana has many heroes, not only the heroes of the MPP tradition. We can name administration block after somebody. We can name hostel after somebody. We can name library after somebody. But the university must reflect its core mandate. And so we'll restore the original names. And the names that they have given them, we will give to a significant infrastructure in the university. And we will add other people and name the infrastructure in the university after them. But if the university is University of Development Studies, that is its core mandate. It will be called the University of Development Studies.
The NDC flag bearer is currently embarking on the Building Ghana tour in the Upper East region. He had earlier reiterated plans to revive the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam at a meeting with the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs, which was to help with the power generation and irrigation purposes.
So it is a project that we envisioned. This president came and cut the sword under and Sino Hydro were appointed as the contractors. The impression was created that it was going to be funded by Sino Hydro, but that's not true. It was to be funded by GOG, Government of Ghana budget. And you know how Government of Ghana budget operates. If they come and cut sword in any place and tell you that they are building something for you, if it's GOG, you can be sure that it will suffer the hazards of financing. And so, even though the sword was cut before 2020 to convince the people of Upper East to vote, there was no intention of ever completing it. It was one of those political gimmicks that this government is well known for. But we can say seriously that that is our baby. We envisioned it. And so when we come, it's something that we're going to look at. And we've already discussed with several organizations because of the importance of it in terms of agriculture, in terms of value chain. I think that is something that we can get dedicated funding for.
National Women's Organizer of the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Hannah Bisiu, has inducted some members of the governing New Patriotic Party in WA who have defected to the NDC. Here's Rafik Salam's report.
Speaking at an induction ceremony for 100 of faithful members of the New Patriotic Party MPP who have defected to the National Democratic Congress NDC, Dr. Hannah Bisiu noted that the NDC is a party of opportunities where the needs of every member of the society is catered for.
There's opportunity for every woman in the NDC. We are family. We love. We support each other. We work hard. In the end, when the NDC comes to power, we create opportunities for everyone. For those who went to school, for those who did not, for the market women, for the girl child, for the boy child, for everyone we create an opportunity.
Tracing her maternal roots to Dafiema in the Dafiema Bure is a constituency in the region, she narrated the story of how her great-grandmother was sold as a slave.
I didn't know I was a slave until I contested 2020 elections for MP in Tano South. In Ghana, if you want to know your history, try politics. I said, I didn't really know. I had to go ask. And I was told the story. And I became a very proud descendant of Dafiama. I stood on the platform and I made everybody to know my roots. I told them where I come from. I told them how my great-grandma was bought and brought down to serve. But the beauty of it that that slave girl from Dafiama was honorably married by her slave master because she was so beautiful and intelligent. Out of that Dafiama slave woman came Hannah Bisiu. This Hannah Bisiu I've sold on the streets before. Don't let anybody deceive you. I have. I've walked without panties before. I've walked without slippers before. I've been maltreated. I've been denigrated. So many things have been done to me. I never gave up.
She said, without the NDC that has a policy of social inclusion, she couldn't have been where she is today. Dr. Hannah Bisiu opined that the NDC started the free senior high school policy on a pilot basis but was destroyed by the MPP upon coming into office.
Member of Parliament for Bole Bamboy, Yusuf Sulemana, wants Interior Minister Ambrose Derry to appear before Parliament to answer questions on recent recruitment into the various security agencies. The MP raised concerns over the ministry's recruitment in the last 2 years without advertising when the ministry appeared before the Public Accounts Committee to answer questions on infractions contained in the 2022 Auditor General's report. James Aveji was in Parliament and has filed this report.
Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee on day 4 of his sitting were the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development. Probing the infractions of the Interior Ministry, the committee questioned why officials varied 2 separate contracts for the constructions of girls' dormitory at one of the Immigration Services training schools and a renovation of the headquarters from 3.9 million Ghana cedis to 8 million cedis without recourse to law.
Also that in terms of coming together as security agencies, the customs, port health, national security, small arms, realize that the painting of the GIS and their side, we realized the dichotomy, the differences. And because it is an international border post where we work together, they appealed to me, and I said I'll get back to their authorities. But we decided at management that in order to beautify the place, to enhance the image of the Republic of Ghana, Ghana Immigration Service, where all international stakeholders pass through, we decided that we will come together and beautify the place. So we decided that we'll look at it and get the appropriate authority to approve it. So that is what actually happened, with due respect.
Unsatisfied with explanation, Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, MP for Bole Bamboy, Yusuf Suleimana, called for tougher sanctions beyond retrospective approvals.
We need to talk to the AG, and that is to be consistent. It creates a whole lot of problems.
But that is where you as a committee has the right to vary this recommendation and go ahead to recommend prosecution. Why did the committee fail to do?
Now, if you listen to me, I insisted that the chairman should recommend prosecution so that we are on the same level. Just last year, quite a number of institutions, agencies were referred to the courts. So why are we not doing the same thing? And that is why I think that we should revisit what we were doing last year and be consistent with what we've been doing.
The committee has directed the ministry to reappear on Monday to explain why 443 private security companies failed to renew their licenses, amounting to 886,000 revenue loss in 2022. Seeking relief from the chairman, Honorable Yusuf Suleimana sought explanation on the processes of recent recruitment into the security services. According to him, the various security agencies have recruited personnel in the last 2 years without any advertisement.
Service as well as prisons. I've seen that in 2022, we did some recruitments. There's evidence to that. 2023, we did see. But before that, I never saw any adverts. Is it the case that now you do recruitment without advertising to the general public to ensure that there's fairness in the process of doing your recruitment?
But the minister said all the recruitments were backlogs from 2021.
We did the 2021 advert, and all that we were doing was the backlog. So we did it. It is the truth my boss told you, and I'm telling you the
So what you have said is that you advertised in 2021.
Exactly.
2022, you haven't advertised. 2023, you haven't advertised.
We are doing transparent work, and I think what my boss told you was the truth. We did the adverts in 2021 and 2023. There was no recruitment. All of them were from 2021-22. So there was no recruitment. Take it from me. 2024, if there's a recruitment, we'll do the advert.
Honorable Suleimana said the sector minister must appear in Parliament to answer more questions.
First of all, I file a question, and I think that the Minister of Interior should come and then tell us why he thinks that he should use 2021 adverts to recruit for 2022 and to also recruit for 2023. That we should know.
In a case involving the Fisheries Ministry, the committee flagged the Fisheries Commission's failure to retrieve some 695,000 cedis paid to One Guma and Sons Limited for the procurement of 2 Toyota Prados in 2021. The sector minister, Mavis Hawakumsin, explains why.
The contract was given to the supplier to supply 2 Prados and 8 pickups. But he supplied them, and the 2 Prado had effect on them, and it was returned. So as at the time of auditing, they were able to provide only the 8 pickups. And looking at the amounts of the pickups, without the Prado, definitely the money paid was more. And that is why it looks like it was overpayment. But because the Prado was not part of it.
These Prados were returned. So in a normal circumstance, either they supply the Prado or they refund the money. But 269,000 579 was refunded, leaving a balance of 695,441, which is the same amount that the auditors flagged here. So that is why the issue is.
To the camp of the to the camp of the governing New Patriotic Party now, where about 20 delegates in the Mesia North constituency in the Ashanti region who allegedly took money from a parliamentary candidate in the just-ended primaries but failed to vote for the candidate are living in fear as the candidate is threatening them with a curse. Addressing a news conference, the delegate said Richard Osei Bamfo is threatening them with the Antwa River deity to refund the monies for breach of contract. Here's a report by Clinton Yeboah.
We, the discerning youth, we cannot.
We'll bring that insert to you later. But in Anya Soutom constituency, some supporters are asking the leadership of the governing New Patriotic Party to reconsider its choice of a parliamentary candidate for the area. They say incumbent Member of Parliament, Dr. Dixon Adumakukisi, who lost the seat last Saturday's in the parliamentary primaries, stands a better chance of retaining the seat for the NPP.
We, the discerning youth, we cannot follow anybody who want to buy our conscience. We are going to vote for development. We are not going to vote for money, because democracy for the people, to the people, and for the people. We will not allow Madam Akufo-Addo to come and run this constituency for us. She proved that this constituency has got its freedom. What does it mean this constituency has got freedom?
Anya Soutom really have lost a great man indeed. This man, to me, he has been very exceptional. He has been quite very exceptional. And I think we have made a great loss, and we have disappointed the whole populace of the Anya Soutom.
Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayoko-Botwe, is making a case to revive the idea of having free trade agreement among Commonwealth countries. Madam Botwe, who has officially submitted her bid to contest for the Secretary General position of the Commonwealth, which becomes vacant in October this year, says a successful free trade agreement among Commonwealth member states would allow these over 2.5 million citizens of the Commonwealth to reap the benefits of the enhanced integration and participation in global and regional supply chains and boost their participation in the multilateral trading system.
The largest number of citizens in the Commonwealth do not earn enough to power the production and market expansion that is needed to create economic security, whether in the industrialized or developing regions of the Commonwealth. Across the Commonwealth, policymakers struggle with policies to raise growth in isolation through austerity and high taxes. The pie is simply not capable of feeding everyone unless consumer-based market expansion considers the potential of our 2.5 billion population. This requires that we re-envision a framework for Commonwealth trade to end the stagnation that is widespread across our countries. We need to surpass the potential 2 trillion trade that we've set for ourselves within the Commonwealth. Should I be elected as Secretary General, I will revive the idea of a free trade agreement among Commonwealth countries. Recent developments, including advanced negotiations between UK and India, the conclusion of free trade agreements by Australia and New Zealand with the UK, the initiation of negotiations for a free trade agreement between Canada and the UK, the conclusion of free trade agreements between the UK and several Commonwealth member states, as well as our own African continental free trade area, have changed the dynamics and have given us a unique opportunity to consolidate those agreements towards a Commonwealth-wide free trade agreement. To be transformative, any such trade and development agreement has to respond to the development needs and challenges of the developing countries in the Commonwealth. Our development partners would have to scale up their aid for trade disbursements.
Labour unions are escalating their opposition to government's recent implementation of a 15% value-added tax on residential electricity consumers exceeding the lifeline threshold. This move, which is part of the government's measures to boost revenue, has faced strong resistance from unions, including the Trades Union Congress. Now, despite issuing a 7-day ultimatum that ended on January 31st, 2024, the unions claim they have not received any formal communication from the government and are now gearing up for a nationwide protest. Secretary General of the TUC, Dr. Yao Ban, says they will stage a demonstration on the 13th of this month.
We gave an ultimatum of 31st January, which elapsed on on Wednesday. We gave that ultimatum to government to withdraw that letter. As we speak today is 2nd, we have not seen any letter withdrawing that directive. In between the time we issued this statement and now, ECG itself has come out to say that they are not ready to even implement this kind of VAT. But that's not our matter. It's between them and their government. This afternoon we met to, in that statement, we said if by 31st, government had not withdrawn this directive to ECG and NEDCO, we will meet here and we will advise ourselves. So this afternoon, we have met here and we have advised ourselves. It is that advice that we are going to communicate to the press. Our advice is very simple. We have advised ourselves that this government is taking Ghanaians for granted. And so we are going to lead a very massive demonstration in all the regional capitals, the 16 regional capitals of Ghana, on the 13th of February. That will be Tuesday. That is this Tuesday's week. We have taken this decision firmly, and we have appointed a committee to plan it.
Away from that, the National Security Minister has assured that its systems are always primed to deal with violent extremism that threatens the security of the country. There have been reported terrorist attacks in neighboring countries, putting Ghana's security services on high alert. The ministry is receiving support from the Global Community Engagement and Resilience Fund. Kweku Asante now reports.
Violent extremism and terrorism has become such a big issue at Ghana's borders, and the Ministry of National Security says it is really up to task in dealing with these matters. It says it has primed up its specifics to ensure that whenever there is any threat to Ghana's security, it can move to combat them. According to the Chief Director of the National Security Ministry, this partnership with DCEF will lead to enhanced cooperation to deal with security issues in the country.
It is imperative that we address the pressing issue of terrorism and violent extremism that continues to plague our sub-region and now threatens to trickle down far south towards Ghana. The rise of terrorism in neighboring countries poses a significant threat to our national security and stability. It is crucial that we recognize the interconnectedness of the threats, and we need a collaborative effort to be able to combat them effectively. We are also trying to prevent any radicalization of our citizenry in the border community areas. We must employ non-kinetic approaches, that is the soft approaches, to address the root causes of these issues
including socio-economic disparities, marginalization, and ideological grievances.
Board chairman of GCEF says they are mobilizing enough resources to be able to support countries like Ghana to deal with this, especially with the threat coming from the Sahel being so dangerous.
Objective is to put GCEF expertise and experience to the service of the plan of the government, in particular by the president, if I may say, because we had the opportunity to talk about that time ago, to, let's say, intervene in order to counter the threats which are coming increasingly towards the coastal state, including Ghana, coming from the north, basically, coming from the tensions which are existing in the Sahel.
So, security analyst and executive director of the West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, Mutaru Muni Mukhtar, has been delivering a presentation on the threats that this country faces in terms of terrorist activities, especially at the border communities.
In northern Ghana, there are issues of religious clashes, but Tamale is uniquely different in the sense that there are often, nearly every year, there are clashes between the Sunni Al-Sunnah group as well as, with the Tijaniya sect. And this usually comes around the time of Ramadan, which is in about, a month now. We would see that feature strongly. We're seeing nationally, of course, the issue of hijab ban in educational and health institutions. These are things that are very prominent, especially in Muslim-dominated areas in northern Ghana. We're seeing marginalization along ethnic lines, but more uniquely, the Fulbe problem, the traditional Fulani ethnic group. This is the single biggest and most persecuted, ethnic group in Ghana. And the northern part is very, very pervasive. Looking at issues of unresolved chieftaincy and ethnic disputes. Chieftaincy and ethnic disputes is the single biggest source of fatality and insecurity. And Bawku, of course, we all know Bawku continues to be a big problem. But what we have realized is that in the last 2 years, Bawku has escalated in many ways, and maybe we will talk about the details in terms of the escalation. And the reason unresolved conflicts is a big driver or a big factor is that extremist groups are very exploitative. They take advantage of existing conflicts, either to recruit or to engage in attacks.
This partnership will get the country up to $3 million, which will be disbursed in the coming months to deal with these extremism issues in the country. And the Ministry for National Security says this partnership is crucial to deal with these security concerns in the country. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, National Security Ministry, Accra.
In other news, the Ghana Education Service is urging teachers to make teaching and learning of science and mathematics friendlier to students in a bid to drive and encourage young learners to develop interest in STEM subjects. The Ghana West Municipal Education Unit organized a quiz competition among basic schools from both public and private schools in the area, with Sherifield Montessori School emerging as the winners of the competition.
The BSTEM quiz competition was introduced by the Ghana West Municipal Education Directorate in 2021 to enhance teaching and learning of STEM in the municipality. It has the goal to whip up interest amongst children in these subjects in accordance with government's effort to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, providing quality and inclusive education for girls. The Ghana West Municipal Director of Education, Victor Noi Tewia, encouraged teachers to adopt child-friendly and engaging approaches to STEM education. According to him, this approach can help overcome students' fears and cultivate their interest in these subjects.
Yeah, as I was saying in my introductory speech, mathematics is a daily activity. Sometimes if it is not taught well to a learner, that is where the phobia for the subject then develops. So besides encouraging the children to learn the science and the math subjects, we're also encouraging the teachers to make the teaching of these subjects very child-friendly, adopting pedagogies that will relate, the children can relate to. So we are trying to develop and whip up the interest of the teachers as well and give them some training in order to make the teaching of these subjects much more friendlier to the learners. So the only way that fear can go is when you enjoy doing something. If you don't enjoy doing something, definitely the interest and the love for that subject will not be there. So if I make the learning or the teaching of that subject very, very friendly and very, very enjoyable, definitely the learner will be in the position to develop the love and interest for the subject. So these are some of the things that we are trying to do to our teachers and also to our learners, developing the love for the subject at an early stage. This is the third edition of the program, and it's something that we want to sustain. Going into the future, we are looking at ways and means of ensuring that we sustain it within our means. Because over the past 2 editions, we'll be looking for sponsorship and it hasn't been consistent. So this third edition, we've looked at ways and means of ensuring that we develop within our system a sustainable way of engaging it or keeping it going. So we have put in place measures to ensure that going forward into the future, consistently, we can have this program running. So we have a source which I can say we can depend on to ensure that we support this program.
STEM coordinator for the Ghana West Municipal Education Directorate, Justice Yao Amewuga, emphasized the need for practical applications of science and mathematics to spark pupils' interest in basic schools.
In fact, the new curriculum is made a way that we have to teach with the materials, manipulative materials. But as we are talking now, the materials are not available. So appealing to corporate organizations, Ghana government, so make a means by which we can get the materials to teach the children properly to have the hand-on activities.
In the finals, Sherfield Montessori School demonstrated excellence by winning the competition for the 3rd consecutive time, scoring 73 points. St. Silvanus RC Basic School secured 39 points, and the Doblogono Methodist Basic School obtained 31 points.
And that's a wrap for today's bulletin. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Sweetie Abochi. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday.